Dominance is natural in the animal kingdom among humans, dogs, monkeys, pretty much any animal. Um, with dogs, true dominance is just a confident dog who's secure with himself, who's calm, who's comfortable in any situation. And what a dog like that does more than anything is teach other dogs. So younger dogs pick things up from these older, more mature, more confident, comfortable dogs. That's how they learn to deal with things like thunderstorms, for instance. A dog can become scared of thunder or loud noises because the first time it hears it, you got a puppy, you bring him home at 8 or 10 weeks, and it's never seen a thunderstorm before. And then all of a sudden, it hears the loud crash, and it panics and it starts shaking. It doesn't know what it was, and you look at the dog. Oh my God, are you okay? Like you make a big deal out of it. So what you're doing is you're saying to the dog, "Oh my God, I heard that too. We should worry about this. Are you worried? Are you okay?" And then coddle that dog. It's okay. We'll get through this together. That's just a bad way to go. See, what a confident dog would do is say they're in pack, thunderstorm comes along, boom, they hear the loud noise. Might startle the dog, but then he's just going to go back about, what he was doing, or he's going to, gather everyone, go into the den, get out of the rain. But he's going to be comfortable. He's not going to be scared. He's not going to be shaking, worried, crying, whining, or giving affection to the other dog. He's going to pretty much do what he was doing before the storm came. So, what a dominant dog does more than anything is teaches. It teaches. A lot of people think a dominant dog is a dog who's just pushy and misbehaves, and that's true to an extent. It's just a different kind of dominance. I think the best way I can explain that is how it relates to people. So, in people, dominance is the same thing. People gravitate and they're attracted to a figure who's comfortable, confident, charismatic. Well, let's take Corey Wayne uses what's his name? 007. What's his name? James Bond as a good example. So let's say you're in a nightclub and James Bond walks into the room. He's charismatic, he's comfortable, he's confident, And then some other guy pulls up in a big truck with huge tires and it's really loud engine, and he comes in strutting his stuff, walking around the room, right? What does he portray? Does he portray confidence? James Bond portrays confidence when he comes in, like he owns the room. This guy comes in and tries to own the room, so he's really just overcompensating. So what that means for a dog who puts on airs is they're overcompensating for a lack of confidence, or they have an insecurity. It's the same with people and dogs, That guy comes in strutting his stuff, he's really insecure is what it is. So he's trying really hard to get people to like or respect him, or, And this is how people can relate to dogs, because people have a tendency to overcompensate, I think, more than anything. Like take women, for example. A lot of them have this idea that they have to lower their voice, or be more forceful or more domineering. Men too, they have a tendency to naturally be a little bit more forceful. And yeah, sure, it does work to an extent. With some dogs. Other dogs, not so much. It depends on where they fall in the whole mentality of a pack. If they're a more submissive type dog, they're probably just gonna go, okay, I just don't want no trouble. But some dogs, like if you've seen in the Tyson video, can be a little bit more confident, a little bit more pushy, and kind of rough. Does that make Tyson a good pack leader? No, not at all. No, he's more like a young kind of a dog who thinks he's the man now, but he really doesn't have what it takes. You say over a Barney, he would definitely fall in line behind Barney for sure, without any confrontation. Barney would just let him know, unacceptable. So yeah, I mean, men can tend to approach in a more forceful way. I see a lot of people, people in general, the way they behave with their dogs, get mad and yell. It does work to an extent, like I said, but really not the way to go. A dog will naturally gravitate and follow a person who's calm and confident. And I don't really think of myself as the most confident person, but a lot of it comes from being used to it, from being in that environment with dogs all the time. Definitely in knowing what to look for, so that increases my confidence in that. But I've always been a naturally calm person who's calm under pressure. I think that's probably one of the most common things that people say about me, that either know me or when they meet me is, "Oh man, you're like so mellow, you're such a calm person." But anytime I've ever been in an extreme situation, like car going out of control, I can maintain calmness and get the car back under control in a way that's almost like slow motion in a way. So dogs pick up on that, and they tend to gravitate towards me. People tend to want to have a dog like them. They want a dog to like them, so they do things that they think will cause a dog to like them. Like give them treats, give them affection, get them excited, talk to them in excited tones, and they put a lot of effort. They try really hard. But excuse me. A dog would prefer a naturally calm, confident person over that person who tries too hard any day. Even if a dog is maybe insecure of people, a little leery, shy, wants to stay away, they'll tend to gravitate towards the higher pitch, softer tone at first, but eventually they will gravitate towards the confident one, because it's the confident person that makes them feel safe and secure. It takes the burden away from them of having to do it. So if you have a dog that doesn't naturally fall into that category, and you don't present yourself in a calm and confident manner, the dog will take over, even if it lacks the ability to do a good job. So if you're having trouble walking your dog on a leash, it's reactive towards people, towards dogs, if it's territorial in your house, these are all indications that your dog sees a lack in you, and it is making up the difference and taking over the job because it feels like you're not doing it. So that's a lot of problems stem from that, and I think a lot of people have either been taught or just maybe they naturally associate human behavior with dogs, so they tend to be more affectionate, more coddly with them. Say if they're a nervous dog, they want to make them feel better and they want to soothe them. But a calm, confident person who's like, oh, you're insecure about something, whatever, goes about their business and ignores them, and the dog eventually just says, I guess there's nothing to be insecure about, because the person I follow isn't nervous about this. So in essence, there's a few things, a few different ways to look at dominance in dogs. One is obviously the calm, the confident one, the teacher. The other is an insecure dominant dog. There are insecure dogs that are shy and want to stay away, but they don't resort to violence or force. But an insecure dominant dog is insecure and shy. He doesn't want dogs coming too close to him, but if they come too close, he might say, "Get away, I'll bite you," and then strike. And that dog is really insecure, but it uses force or violence even to keep other dogs at bay, to keep itself in a comfortable, like, I want you away, I want to pretend that I'm not even here. There are the young up and coming dogs that are learning, and maybe they're starting to feel a little bit, a little boost of confidence, like they could, they don't, I don't have, like a teenager, I don't have to listen to you, I got, I can do my own thing, I can do what I want. I think a lot of people run into that when they get a dog home, as say a puppy or a young dog, and they don't do a whole lot of training, and a lot of people think training is teaching a dog to do tricks. That's not really what it is. So they get a dog home, and it reaches the age of anywhere between, say, 1 and 2, and the dog starts to get that boost of confidence, and it starts doing things and misbehaving, and they say, "Oh, the dog is dominant." Yeah, in a way, he's coming of age, and he's coming to his own, and you being a step above that, more confident, more comfortable in your own skin, is really the way to approach it, rather than to be forceful or to try too hard or to deepen your voice. "I said no." Another thing that people do is they can also be insecure and dominant. They're not confident, and they try to make up for it by being too forceful. And just like that dog who's insecure and dominant, nobody will follow that dog. In fact, if that was a pack situation, they would probably kill that dog, because it weakens the pack. It makes the pack look weak, and they wouldn't want that. If that dog couldn't come out of it, they would kill it. The rest of the pack would kill it. And that's probably the main reason why dogs don't listen to people, who, like we saw in the video with Tyson, who get frustrated, aggravated, and they try too hard. They puff up and pounce forward, when really all you have to do is just kind of a little bit, a slight movement forward. No. And they tend to listen to that, as you saw, much better than somebody who gets all frustrated and flustered about it. And the same goes for dogs that are not so much like Tyson, not so confident. Your approach being calm and matter of fact. I said no, just like with children, isn't gonna freak them out or scare them, or because you don't want to do that. I mean, dogs have different levels of where they are mentally, based on what they've learned in the first few weeks and months of puppyhood. They may have picked up things, like the thunder issue, where they had to deal with that on their own, and they had no one to teach them, or maybe a human was there and taught them the wrong thing. And these dogs later on, with me, I'm at a shelter, so they get adopted, and then people see that this dog is nervous or insecure, and they always think, "Oh, I bet he was abused, this dog was abused." I hear so many people say they think their dog was abused because it's a little bit nervous about a more gruff approach, or it's nervous around loud noises or something like that. I don't know. They just, it's amazing how many people think their dog is abused, and by those standards, probably about 35% of the population is abusing their dogs. I would say probably 75% of the population doesn't understand their dog, and they probably do things that kind of in a way psychologically screw them up. That could be a whole another video, how to just be around your dog. But if you go back to the Tyson video and you look at that, that was training. It seemed like fun. It seemed like playing. He didn't know. He had no idea he was being trained. He was just having a good time, and he was glad that somebody was paying attention to him. So that's another part of it, is to put yourself in a leadership position. If you have multiple dogs and you have control over your dogs, one dog's going to see that, hey, he has control over that dog, and the other dog's going to see the same thing. So that automatically puts you in a leadership position. They look up to you for things. So him having all those little rules, every time he wanted the toy, having to sit. And so you notice that even when I didn't have a toy, every time I said sit, it became ingrained, because when I take him out, whether it's 15 or 25 times that I throw the toy, that's 15 or 25 times that he learned to sit and look when I said look, or I didn't even have to tell him to sit or look, he would do it. But those times when I needed him to, when he was going after the feed or something like that, and I had to say no, he listened, because it's ingrained. And then when I said no, sit is what I want you to do. No, I don't like what you're doing. What I would like for you to do is sit. And then he would do that, because it's ingrained in him. So training isn't like this boring thing where you walk back and forth and you give your dog treats and all that stuff. It's a relationship. It's forming a bond and understanding with your dog, and him forming a bond and understanding with you. A lot of the times, especially with dogs that I've spent a lot of time with, I don't have to say a word to them. I can pretty much give them a look or a gesture moving forward. Boom, they sit. Okay, I know what you want. You want me to look. When I'm looking, then I know I'm going to get the toy. I'm waiting for that word yes. Boom, there's the toy. So they get the things they want from you as the leader. And there are so many things that a dog wants and needs. They need food. They need to go out to potty. They need exercise. They want to go on walks. They they like to go to the park. They like to play. They like to go swimming. Hikes where they can explore. And they have to earn all of those things. It's not like you can't just bring a dog home, especially if you're adopting an older dog and it's maybe got some habits it picked up along its life somewhere that aren't the greatest, but you can't just bring it home and have it be a free-for-all and expect everything's going to go smoothly. You have to establish yourself with the dog. And you do that by making it work for the things that it wants and needs. Just little things, and it doesn't even really take a whole lot of time. Sure, sometimes you gotta physically teach a dog how to sit because it doesn't know that, Sometimes dogs speak Spanish, which I learned a few years ago. It's like, I can't believe this dog doesn't know anything. And then I thought, wait, where is he from? Oh, he's from, let me see if he knows Spanish. And I looked it all up on Google, and yeah, sure enough, the dog spoke Spanish. So I had to teach the dog English, which, being that I don't speak Spanish, I guess isn't that bad when it only knows 5 to 10 words. But yeah, well, I think we were talking about dominance. So dominance and how to just be with your dog. Um, I think people, they tend to take that overcompensating, insecure route more than anything. So you got to remember that you want to portray confidence. You want to be a teacher for your dog. You know, there's rules to coming in my house from the moment you step into the door. The door opens, you are not allowed to barge through, run around the room, jump on my couch, or do anything. The door opens, and what I want from the dog is I want the dog to sit and be calm. Because coming into my house, being calm is a rule. So we come in the house, he follows me in, I show the dog around. He tries to go up on the couch, I tell him no. So I'm teaching the dog that there's rules. I don't want you in my kitchen. Sorry, I don't like the dogs in the kitchen because it's small and I'm moving around trying to cook or do something and they're under my feet and I'm tripping over them. So that's a rule. I don't like them in my bedroom, so they can't. If they start heading over to the door, no. Um, in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, they want to follow me around and get under my skin and follow me. And I go into the bathroom. I like to leave the door open, so they walk up and they sit there and they stare at me. And if I even look at them, they'll both squeeze in the door. It's a small bathroom. They'll both squeeze in the door and start trying to get all up on me, so I pet them or whatever. Yeah, no, okay, out. I don't want you in the bathroom. And I can invite them in sometimes. I can invite them on the couch if I want. I can invite them into my bedroom or into my bed with me if I want, and then I can tell them to leave. There's rules, and they don't enforce them. I do. Because I'm the one who brings in the food. I'm the one who knows how to open the door. I'm the one who knows how to drive a car. I know where the park is. I know all the coolest games. I know where to walk. I know where all the good fun hiking places are. The adventures they go on. I bring them to people. I bring them to other dogs. So I'm the one that exposes them to life, into the world. I'm the one that shows them and teaches them. Say Luna was petrified of thunder. She was 6 to 7 months old when I got her, so she had lived in a house with 5 kids, and it was loud and chaotic, and there was 4 cats or something. And so she used to like to chase, the cats around or run out the door into the street. And the kids would run around in the yard, and she would get crazy and jump on them and tackle them and get nippy and all that good puppy fun stuff. And it got to be too much. So when I got her, she missed out on a lot of the things, a lot of training that a leash was something she didn't really understand. So taking her for a walk for the first couple weeks was always a wrestling match. A truck or something would drive by and she would just flip out and start spinning and spinning and spinning. And I'd have to hang her up and then slowly lower her down to the ground and then put her on her side and just relax her, massage her, and she's just like So I had to reprogram her and teach her about the world around her. I had to expose her to all those things in a way that was more structured and different than where she came from, which was more chaotic. So I brought that confidence and calmness into her life. And now, if you look, what was the title of that video? I think it was Luna and Fuzzy meets Ryder, or something like that. And Fuzzy's like the beta. He does the dirty work. So if I'm being domineering on a dog, he'll do the same thing, and he does it in a good way, so I allow it, depending on, the relationship of the other dog and where that dog is. But most people would look at that and say, well, Fuzzy's the dominant one. He's the one being more dominant. He was the one putting his chest out and trying to, climb up on the other dog and putting his head over the other dog. But Luna was the one who calmly and confidently just walked right in between the two dogs, looked at one, looked at the other, and they both moved out of her way, and then she walked forward. They got out of her way. They yielded to her. So she's actually the dominant dog in that scenario. Whereas I think most people would say that the more active, domineering dog was. But he was basically the beta. He was doing the dirty work of the alpha. And the reason they were doing that is because Ryder was the dog who was, young and up and coming and full of piss and vinegar, but not confident and lacking the ability to be a real leader. So they were putting him in his place and showing him, no, you're not ready for that yet. There's still some things that you need to learn. Follow us. So I hope that helps with people who always tend to associate dominance or dominant behavior with a bad dog or a misbehaving dog or a dog who's just, pushy or jumps on you or sits on your foot or all these crazy things I hear people say, even trainers say that. But it's really not true, being that way towards your dog is not going to help. Being, overly domineering, being, angry about it, there's really no reason to get angry. If you're doing something and it's not working, do something else. A lot of times when I go into a situation, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have a plan. I kind of have to analyze it first. And I may try something and it's not effective. And so, okay, I'll have to step back, rethink about it, try something else. The fact of the matter is, you're going to keep trying something until you find something that works. And the dog actually appreciates just you spending that time. It's not even so much what you're doing, it's that you're doing something, I mean, if you have children, yeah, you could be, father of the year, you could be a, coach for the team and, do all these things, or you could just be there. But either way, it's better than not being there, right? I mean, the fact that you're there sometimes with them, especially for me, because I'm dealing with a shelter situation, a kennel situation, where there's a lot of solitude for them. So just that social activity of being with you, is enough, because you're putting some kind of effort into it. You don't have to be an expert, as long as you're trying. They'll come around and you'll find something that works. So ultimately what dominance is being calm, being confident, being comfortable in your own skin, and being assertive. So if your dog is misbehaving and you want to tell the dog, you want to get his attention, hey, no, I don't like that behavior. So you're going to correct and tell them, no, I don't like it. And then you're going to assert yourself and move forward and instruct them on what you want, which is, I want you to sit or lay down or calm down. And then when they listen, they look up at you and they sit, you just back away and then go back about what you were doing. If they start up again, you just repeat. And that way, there's really no need to get angry or frustrated, because you're not stopping a behavior or a symptom. You're teaching, you're guiding that dog on what you actually want. So the behavior eventually will be learned, and they'll see, like, Tyson with the shoe. He knows now that if I just say no, okay, I don't want nothing to do with it. I could just show him the shoe now. I don't want nothing to do with it, because I taught him that. He learned it. What's not dominance is overcompensating. you know, Being insecure about it. I could say no, or I could say, no, stop. Which one's going to be more effective? Obviously, one they're going to listen to, and the other one they're probably going to do the opposite. Just jump all over you, and like you're presenting yourself as beneath them. So they're filling that space, and they're taking that space over. It's not so much that they have dominance in their nature usually, it's that you don't. It's funny how I would say at least 90% of the work I do when I get a call for a dog that has some kind of issue is not something in the brain that's not wired correctly or that went wrong. It's the relationship and the way the person presents themselves with their dog, and the dog feels a need to fill that space. Somebody has to do it. Somebody's got to be the one in charge. That's just the way it is, and they view you as their family and their pack. So if you're not doing it, they will. A true dominant dog, they're very rare. It's terrible to say, they're very rare. But a true dominant dog, you almost don't have to train, because they're the ones that can walk out in front of you, and they're confident even if you're not. And you almost can't screw them up. There are even, some dogs that make good PTSD dogs that maybe aren't your more dominant type of dogs, but they just kind of cope well with things, which they could deal with people who are a little bit more unconfident. Almost no dogs really tolerate or deal with anxiety and frustration and anger very well. Those types of people will almost always have a dog that misbehaves almost on a constant basis. Like if you got a dog that's tearing around the house, grabbing shoes, chewing them up, and you're hey, no, put that down. And you chase after them, and then they drop it, and they run around, and then they grab a different shoe over there, and then take off with it into the corner. Ha ha ha! Come get me. If you got one of those dogs, it's probably not what you think. It's probably not a dominant dog. It's probably just reacting to your anger and your frustration. And you just gotta stop for a minute, take a deep breath, and approach it in a more calm manner, and take the time to do the repetitive training. That is so important. The dog has to know what you mean in order for it to know what you expect from it. So you got to start with the basic language and the basic skills, and then from there you have the tools you need. Dog knows how to sit, so sitting is a submissive position for a dog. I asked you to do it, you submitted to the will of me asking you to do it. So a knock at the door, dog gets up, starts barking. Hey, no, understands that. Sit, stay. Now I can go open the door without the dog jumping all over the company. And then if I want to, I can bring the dog over and show the dog how to greet people. And if he starts to get all, jumpy with it, no, we're going to correct that. We're going to sit again, and we're going to start over. We're going to try this again until it's done my way. So basically, if your approach is more that you get angry or you get frustrated or flustered, and you might not be sure what to do, but if you're having trouble, that's probably the reason why, and you should, rethink the way that you do it. Get a book, watch some videos, try to find the information out there. There's tons of information, there's tons of bad information, but the thing is, every dog is different, every dog learns different, they have different personalities, they take things differently. Some dogs can be more sensitive. Some dogs can take all you can dish out. You know, some dogs work better for toys. Some work better for food. Some simply just want to please you, and they'll do anything to do that. If they know that you're displeased, they'll stop doing a thing. If they know you're pleased, they'll do that thing. So each dog is different. That's why when I approach a new dog, it's always a new experience. I never know what I'm going to do or what I'm going into. It's just very instinctual as we go. I think most importantly, what you need to remember is no matter what kind of dog you have, is to present yourself calm and confident. Calm, confident, and assertive. Because that state of mind will make your dog feel more safe and more secure, and it'll be less inclined to try to take over your position and misbehave or misdirect on a leash, out on walks, or when people knock at your door, those really bad behaviors, because 9 out of 10 times that's where it comes from. They see that lack in you and they take it over. It's not so much that they're a dominant dog, it's that they're taking over that spot because nobody's filling that space. Well, I hope that was helpful, informative. I will see you next time, and in the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and adopt.